Movie review guy here, and I am at the Alamo Draft House in Woodbury, Minnesota for their annual Dismember movie marathon. We're going to be watching 4 to 5 horror movies, and I will be giving you reviews between each film. So stay tuned for that. Just finished with the first movie here at Dismember. It was entitled Messiah of Evil. It was a 1970s film. Basic plot. Some woman comes to a strange town to find her missing father, and there's a bunch of weird townsfolk, and something's going on. What is it? You gotta watch the movie to find out. Not a lot to it. If I had a few complaints, one is called Messiah of Evil. Yeah, we don't see too much of the Messiah of the Evil in the movie that's named after him. He's in it for about 2 minutes, and he's never explained. But like I said, it's just a simple film to kick things off. There is one thing, though, is like, as she's trying to find out who her father is, where her father is, she's reading from his journal, right? So it's like, oh, I'm going crazy. And I was thinking, well, if she's trying to find the guy, why not just skip to the end of the journal? Instead of reading the whole story, just right at the end, oh, the townsfolk's filled with werewolves. I got to get out of here. You know, just get right to the point. I mean, if someone's missing, wouldn't that be the way you'd actually do it? You wouldn't go through the whole thing. You kind of go towards the end, which would have been the last entry before they disappeared. Just a thought. Like I said, that's the first movie in our horror movie marathon. So we're off to a decent start. Alright, just got done watching the second movie in our horror movie marathon. This one was The Changeling. Basically, you have this composer. He just lost his wife and daughter in an accident, so he decides to go teaching in Seattle. And, you know, he rents out this massive mansion, and wouldn't you know it, the place is haunted by a ghost, and he's got to solve the mystery of how the ghost died to get rid of it. So this one was trying to think of what slow burn, I guess you could say. You know, it took its time, built up the tension, and then eventually it starts getting scarier and scarier. There were a few misdirections, like they had this one story about someone who died in the house, and you thought that, you know, that girl was going to be the ghost, but no, that was just a completely irrelevant story, and the ghost is someone else entirely different. But yeah, like I said, nice sort of mystery, creepy elements, stuff like that. Once again, the title is called The Changeling, but the Changeling character, which I guess Changeling is another word for imposter, not that relevant to the plot. You know, you don't see the Changeling, and I won't give away who it is, but a few times, and then they become more relevant in the end. Yeah, also the movie was a bit depressing, but aside from that, I did enjoy it. All right, on to the next movie. All right, just got done with the third movie in the horror movie marathon. This was Night of the Demons, a classic from the 1980s. Basic plot synopsis: a bunch of teens decide to have a Halloween party in a creepy old funeral home, and they get killed off and possessed by demons. Yeah. Like I said, this is a classic. I've already seen it, but it was worth seeing it again. It's still super funny. It's got great lines like "eat a bowl of fucks." Some really cool effects when they start killing people off, gorging out eyeballs and taking lipstick things and shoving them into the boobies. Like I said, a classic. All right, let's move on to the next film. All right, just watched the final film in the horror movie marathon. It was The Burning, which is, I've heard of it before. It's basically a knockoff of Friday the 13th, although I think they were made the same year. That Tom Savini worked on both of them, so I don't know if one ripped off the other one. But it also had Jason Alexander, a very young Jason Alexander, and a very young Fisher Stevens. That was quite the surprise to see him in this horror film. So basically, you have this summer camp. These kids decide to prank the caretaker. He ends up being set on fire, and he goes back to the camp area to inflict revenge using a pair of garden shears. He just basically kills people with garden shears. No other weapons, just the garden shears. But each one of them is pretty gruesome. Tom Savini worked on the effects. There's this one scene where the guy gets 3 of his fingers chopped off. Ooh, that was brutal to watch. So I guess that that was the perfect film to end this horror movie marathon on. I had a lot of fun this year, and I'm looking forward to next year.